Yes, brother.
Yes, my brother, you good?
Yeah, I'm good, man. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Not too bad.
I see the fresh trim and everything, man. Like, you putting all of us in shame. Like,
Man, so I got a little personal barber, something like that. Anyway.
sorry,
You
let
good,
me
yeah?
read what. Yeah, I'm good. When you going to be on the radio one? I don't know. I'll see. I'll see what's happening with that. But yeah,
Radio
man.
One.
No,
What's happening with that?
I don't know. No, nothing. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I said it's like I'll see if that's gonna happen or not.
Yeah.
We got Max as
Yeah.
well in the building. Yeah. So, how you been during quarantine?
Yeah, man. I'll be honest. It's been a bit up and down, to be
Yeah.
fair. It's been one of them where at the beginning, I tried treating it like a holiday at the beginning.
Hmm.
I know that sounds a bit weird, but I was kind of thinking just to get in the mindset. I was like, right, I actually moved back to my mum and stepdad's. I moved in with them,
Yeah.
just because it was easier. Like we was all in one place rather than me. And I'll live on my own, so like it was just one of them things I didn't really want to be doing. So I moved back with them for that for a while, and it was good. Like we had a laugh, like we was all getting on well. And then the whole relaxation thing kind of come into play. So I decided it's probably best I move back home.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's been good days, there's been bad days, mate. I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, it's all great, but everyone's in the same position, and everyone sort of have their good and bad days. So yeah, it's been tough, but obviously
Hmm.
everyone's in the same boat. So
Did you kind of come into quarantine thinking it would be a short period, or did you think it was actually going to be a long stint kind of thing?
yeah, I was pretty real with it, mate, if I'm honest. I actually had, me and a friend of mine, we had Vegas booked
Yeah.
for March, and I think it was 2 weeks before we was meant to be going, this whole sort of thing kicked off. And as soon as that was cancelled,
Yeah.
we was like, right, no, it's got a bit serious. So yeah, that was the first sort of realization. And I was just pretty real with it. Like, I knew we was gonna be in for the long run. I didn't really know how bad it would get. But to be honest, compared to some countries, mate, I think we've got away with it. Like, we're still
And
allowed
you know
that.
what? I don't even think
Stuff.
we're that bad. I
No,
know there's a lot of deaths, and like I'm sorry for the families and everything, but I don't even think it's that bad, to be honest.
no, I
Like,
really don't.
I think everyone's just hyping it up, and the government are hyping up to make it look extreme. When for us, compared
Yeah,
to Italy, Spain, all those other countries, I don't even think it's that bad.
no. And like, I've got friends out in Tenerife, and
Yeah.
they weren't allowed to leave their homes, mate. That they were in
Mm.
that was lockdown. Like, they were not allowed to leave. Not allowed. Like, a friend of mine out there, he went for a run, and there was given
Yeah.
a time that I think it was there was two times. It was like 10 a.m. in the morning till 12 p.m. Or 12 lunch, and then 6 till 10 at night. They was allowed to go and exercise. And I think he went for a run at like 9 o'clock, and he was still out at
Mm.
10:05 on his way home. And he got stopped by the police, and they literally said, if you're not home in 10 minutes, we will give you a €500 fine. And that's just like crazy.
Yeah, it's literally the same all over Europe. They weren't allowed out, nothing like that.
No.
Like, especially Italy with the police kind of guarding the doors and everything.
Yeah, man.
I think our culture's a bit different. I don't think the police could have done that over
Yeah,
here.
I agree.
So like there is a point of me which is like they should have done that, but I know for a fact that it wouldn't work.
No, not at all, man. Not at all.
Like, and
It's
also because
we
UK is
resent.
massive, to be honest.
Yeah,
Like,
and we do
it's very
resent quite a
tense.
lot as well.
Too many human
Yeah,
rights
so
in the UK, literally.
yeah, yeah. I think they would have massively struggled if they'd tried and enforce a proper lockdown. To be fair,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm kind of done with it all now, if I'm honest. I know obviously
I
it's
think
still
everyone is.
happening, but yeah, exactly, mate. Everyone's in the same boat, and everyone's just itching to try and get back to some sort of normality. To be fair,
Literally, I think, you know what? It's opened a lot of DJs' eyes and like other people's eyes up to a lot of things. So it's been a good period, but also I think it was a bit too extended.
yeah, no, I'm with you on that. But mate, what you're doing, I know I've said this to you previously, but what you're
Yeah.
doing right now is literally the best thing you could be doing. Like, the networking you have done is just unreal.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
it's helped a lot.
You have created a path for yourself, mate, when this is all over. Trust me, you've done so well with this.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So going to your career, how did DJing start for you?
DJing started for me when I was probably 12, 13, I think. I got bought my first set of decks. I think they're from Argos. It was like an all-in-one system thing. It was,
okay.
one of them.
Well, the speaker inside.
Yeah.
With it.
It was one of them. I think it was called Home Mix something. About 120 quid, I think it was. And yeah, CDs only, like back to basics, mate. Because I missed the whole sort of turntable era. I was the one to sort of come out the other side of the turntable era, so I've never been the one. I have used them, obviously, but I wouldn't feel confident mixing on vinyl and stuff.
Yeah,
because that's not the way I learned. I kind of just missed that. So yeah, like back to basics with CDs. I was probably 12, 13 when that happened, and then I eventually got my first club booking. I was 15 when I first got my first club booking. And a guy messaged me on promoter messaged me on Facebook. And I was in school at the time. I remember it. I was in school and he messaged me and said, "Can you come and DJ for me?" And I was like, I said to my pals at the time, I was like, "What do I do?" And I was like, do it. But obviously it's the whole ID underage thing. I was like, no, like shit a brick really. I was like, no, like I'm underage, I'm only 15, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, "Okay, mate, cool. Appreciate you being honest." 2-3 weeks later, he messaged me again and he was like, "I've got this event. Can you come and DJ for me?" And I was like, "Do you know what? Like, I've been honest. I've told you, let's do it. Like, let's go." So yeah, he booked me. It was one of them selling ticket events. Like, you had to sell tickets and you kept a fiver and all that. But yeah, that was sort of my foot in the door really. And obviously only at 15, but yeah, never looked back since.
Did you have to do that? Did you have to do the early sets or did you do the full thing? Or
yeah, of course, man. I think the first ever set was in room 2. So my first set in a club, I probably took about 10, 15 of my pals with me. And then I was DJing to them and the bar staff. So it was literally, I'm not going to sit here and say, I DJed to 1,000 people in my first ever club set because it just
Yeah. You didn't get thrown too deep in the deep end.
No, not at all. But yeah, it was one of them that I just kind of embraced it, enjoyed it. And then it carried on. I've done really well. Got good feedback as well from it. So obviously he booked me for his next event and he had, he was doing two events a month there. So yeah, he booked me. I ended up becoming a resident for that brand, which was pretty cool.
So from then on, how's it all progressed for you?
I used to, when I first started DJing, it was literally just house, and house was the only real in thing then. Like there was no really, you wouldn't go to a club and listen to R&B. Like there was specific clubs for it back then, but it was mainly just house. Like Romford was just house, and that is where I first had my club bookings. And yeah, we're probably talking 7 years ago now. This was 7-8 years ago. And then being a resident for that brand actually led on to We Are Festival. Because the guy had involvement in that at the time. So that I ended up playing on the first ever We Are Festival before anyone even knew about it. Like I was plugging this festival and everyone was like, what is this? I think they probably had about 15,000 people on their first ever event, on the first ever festival, which was still obviously big.
That's still a good that's still a good turnout.
Yeah, but now obviously it's through the roof, mate. I think they're hitting 70, 80K, which is mad. But yeah, obviously to be on the first ever one of them was cool. And I went down the whole sort of Ministry of Sound route. I used to play there quite regularly, at least once a month down at Ministry. And then on to like Egg in London, Fire in Vauxhall. So yeah, I was very sort of house orientated, but that was the in thing back then, as I say. And then
do you think that's helped you though? Like being in house, starting off in house and doing that.
I wouldn't say help me. I said the way I look back now, and I wouldn't change a thing. Like I personally believe everything happened for a reason, and I was in them situations at that time for that reason. I wouldn't have said it helped me, but I had fun doing what I was doing when I was doing it. If that makes sense. And obviously it did lead on to better things. If I didn't play house at that time, I wouldn't have ended up playing at the first ever We Are Festival. I wouldn't have ended up obviously playing at Ministry, because if you turn up to Ministry playing R&B, you got no chance, unless it's on one of the student nights and stuff.
Unless it's like an event there.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, it opened doors, but now I've kind of gone down the whole sort of multi-genre route. I'm more of a resident DJ. Don't get me wrong, I love turning up doing guest sets and turning up to a club and playing for an hour, etc. But I love a residency. I love them. because I've been in a residency where I've been asked to take over a residency where the club's been absolutely banging, and I've just had to try and keep up with that, and it's been great. And then I've also been in the other end where I've turned up or been given a residency and the club's struggling, so I've had to try and get behind it and push it as well. So yeah, no, it's been cool. Yeah.
Do you ever get scared about your residencies though, about it kind of ending or new DJs coming in that?
Yeah, I think you saw what went on with Attic in Romford. That was like out of the blue completely. Like,
was that because of a new DJ, or was that just that was kind of like a mutual thing where you would kind of done as well? Or
I wouldn't say I was done. No, I wouldn't say I was done, if I'm honest. It weren't a mutual thing, that was sure. That was for sure. And it weren't the management that were there at the time either. It was higher above. And they sacked everyone, like down to the light jock, literally down to the light. They sacked the warm up DJs first, then the light jock, then the Friday night resident, then me, and I was Saturday night resident. So yeah, it was a bit of a kick in the teeth. And obviously, as you say, there's that worry of obviously. I was told something a long time ago, never put your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
And I did at that time. And it come back and sort of bit me in the ass because I was without work for probably a month, which was the longest I had been out of work or DJ work for years before that. Probably 5-6 years. Like now, this is the longest period I've ever DJed for since I remember DJing.
Yeah.
But back then, obviously, that month in between, just getting back out there, networking, trying to build relationships. That was the longest time I hadn't played for.
So let's say Attic DMs you now, and they say, "Can you come do the residency?" Are you taking it?
Oh, right now because I'm itching to DJ probably. But listen, they've got a good team there. You done a chat with Just Craig, didn't you?
Yeah.
Not so long ago. And he's the Saturday night resident there now.
Okay.
And from what I've been told, he's doing a good job and stuff. So yeah, I'd never try and take that away from anyone. But yeah, I did enjoy that club. I can't lie. I was there for a long time.
Well, you did in the main room as well.
Yeah. It was main room. I used to do 1 till 4 every Saturday, and I've had some of the best nights in a club in that night in that club.
But with that club as well, would that ever come back into the scene? Because obviously there's like 2,000 people, 1,000 people under one roof in that sense.
It's a big worry, mate.
Are they even going to come back, or are they going to have to minimize the capacity there? Or
I hope so. Obviously, I think everyone's going to be in the same sort of position until this sort of, even restaurants and stuff. I mean, in Dubai, they're running at 50% capacity. It's going to be a long road to recovery. Like, I think there's a lot of people out there that think we're just going to flick a switch and 2,000 of us turn up to a club or 300 of us go down a pub. It's not going to be like that, unfortunately, which is a shame.
Again, it is worrying because like one person could have COVID, infects the whole club, basically. So that's 2,000 people infected.
Yeah, mate, I'm with you on it.
It's weird. It's crazy, yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually working. It's a bit under the lines at the minute. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I've been working with a investor who wants to reopen a club.
Yeah.
And we were actually going to reopen it in December last year, sorry. But a few things happened and it dragged on. And then obviously this whole thing come around, so it's just been completely delayed. The scheduled reopening is in April of next year. And something we've been speaking about is like he's literally thinking about spending more money on an extraction system, like rather than recycling the air in the club, actually taking the air out and putting new stuff in. It's something that I think a lot of clubs are going to have to look at because the air in a club is literally all just recycled. Yeah, and everyone's just breathing in the same air. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of venues are going to struggle. That's for sure, but hopefully they'll all get back on their feet, mate. In your opinion, when do you think it's going to come back? Like the clubbing scene? What, running at like 100% capacity? Yeah. June next year. June? That's the latest I've heard. That's the latest I've heard. Like, I've heard in New Year's. No, not at full capacity. I can't see it. I hope I'm wrong. What's the inside? I think it's Yeah,
Should be standard procedure.
yeah. Mate, I'd love to turn around and say, yeah, for like full capacity by the end of the year, but I just can't see it. I hope I'm wrong, but I can't see it happening.
But imagine, no, imagine playing to 50% capacity as well. Like, that means you're not gonna get the full pay as you should get because the club ain't making the same money. So it's just, I don't even think they should just wait till everything's settled and not run it like that, because there's just no point running it at 50%, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, but then obviously people have got bills to pay. Like these clubs are still paying. If they don't own the building, they're still paying rent. They're still obviously, there's loads to pay for. Debts that a lot of the clubs are probably in debt. If I'm honest, there's
going to be loads of clubs that aren't going to come back after this, because how are they going to come back?
Clubbing was a struggle before this. That's the thing, and it's whether people are going to feel safe to actually go clubbing in itself. Like, I know for me, I probably wouldn't. If they said to me tomorrow clubs are reopened, I probably wouldn't go.
Yeah, I wouldn't go.
No.
I'd be excited, but like I probably wouldn't go.
But there's nothing I want more to go and DJ to 1,000 people in a club. But would I want to put myself in that situation? Probably not.
And how would you social distance in a club anyway? That's not possible.
Exactly.
Because once everyone has a drink or two done sorted, you can't social distance.
Exactly, mate. It's going to be a struggle, I think, for a lot of venues. But I'm hoping that we can all sort of come together and pull through it, because everyone loves going out clubbing, bars, restaurants and stuff. So the whole hospitality industry as a whole is going to take a massive hit.
Definitely.
But I just hope, I mean, I know people personally that own venues and are worried, and obviously they're going to be worried.
But DJing in radioactive suits. You're going to have to wear the full like hazmat suits.
Yeah, to be fair, you probably could do one of them in Romford anyway.
Do you think, I'm going to ask you this, do you think because you're in like the Essex scene, it's been easier to get your gigs than being in like South London or places like that? Or it's actually harder?
Personally, harder. I know a DJ that actually moved up to Birmingham.
Yeah.
He didn't have any bookings here. Hopefully my mummy said, I'm not going to name him, but he didn't have like any bookings here at all. Like once in a blue moon, you'd see him on a flyer. Great, like good DJ, very good DJ. I've DJed with him several times, but he didn't have any. Moved up to Birmingham and he's DJing 3 nights a week in a club. And you're just like, how? Like, I think the Essex scene is very, which isn't about, it has its perks because I think there's a group chat running around. I think Liam actually created the group chat.
Shock.
I'm pretty sure Liam created the group chat, you know.
Liam's got nothing to do.
There's all sorts of madness in that group chat, trust me. But I think there's actually a group chat with like all the Essex DJs in it. Essex, East London DJs. And yeah, we everyone gets on well, but it is quite overpopulated. Yeah. Essex is bitch. Fuck. That's why you love it.
No children. Yeah, why you even still DJing in Essex, man, if you're cussing it?
I love this guy. Trust me, he's a funny guy.
Do you think clubbing scene's actually going to die out after this and it's going to need more events to come up? Because obviously the Essex scene is mainly just events based now than anything else.
I think it's hard because I think a lot of people, rather than going to a standard club, people have gone back to the days where they follow it like a brand. Rather than like, there's a few events in London, like a few events in Essex. Sorry, I know you like Goat and stuff. Like you DJ'd, and they just, people prefer to follow a brand if they can relate to it and they feel like part of a family. People enjoy it. So yeah, I think brands could really help the whole sort of scene. But then again, it's everyone feeling comfortable to go and do it. That's going to be the main issue. Have
you ever wanted to start your own events?
I used to run my own events. There used to be a bar in Upminster. And I used to run my own events there. Liam will probably remember that. I think he came and DJ for me a few times. I used to run events there, and that was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. We had some good fun there. But if I'm honest, I don't want to be known as a promoter. I'd rather just be known as a DJ. I think, but there's guys that do it. They run it as a brand. There's a few DJs that get involved. They run it as a brand, and they smash it. I think each to their own. Like if you want to do it, then go down that route, and make it a little bit different and make it your own. if you can. But for me, no, I'd rather just focus on the DJing, to be fair.
How do you find the DJ scene at the moment? Obviously not during quarantine, but just in general, do you think it's quite a hard game now? Do you think it's getting easier? Do you think what's your takes on it?
I wouldn't say it's hard. I think it's with social media, it's just become a lot easier. It isn't a bad thing. Again, it has its perks. I've got no issue with people getting on it, and mate, I'll spend as much time as possible giving as many people as help. Like, because I remember being in that position myself, and Liam actually helped me a lot when we was younger, or I was younger. And yeah, I remember being in that position and trying to break in and get into the scene, and following DJs to clubs and stuff like that. So I think if you're willing to put that effort in, and willing to get involved, then if you show that willingness, that people don't mind. But it's the ones that kind of turn up and just expect it on a plate that you just, come on, bro, like start at the bottom, work your way up.
Definitely. What advice would you give to up and coming DJs trying to get into the scene and trying to get into the clubbing industry?
Networking, key. As I always say, like network. I am guilty for not doing it. I've had nights off where I should take myself to a club. Like if I'm not doing nothing, I should be in a club. I should be going to meet new DJs, going to speak to new people. But I haven't done that, which I'll hold my hands up and say it's probably one of the worst things I haven't done. So yeah, networking is key. Being yourself, 100% being yourself. Like don't try and change who you are just to try and get gigs. Like your cracks always come through in the end anyway. So yeah, be yourself, and also don't be afraid to try something new. Again, that's something I haven't done personally. There's a few.
So what's this something new you would do?
Even putting out videos, doing it Instagram live.
You're inactive, like, you know.
Huh?
I said you're inactive.
I'm so inactive. Like it's bad.
You need to start getting back, man. You need to start getting back into Instagram.
Do you know what? What's he said? Who did? Oh, Walshy. I've got a personal barber that isn't actually a barber, but they've turned out to be a very good barber.
His girlfriend.
Anyway, just baiting me right out there. Yeah. What was he saying?
Do you want to get some tissues? You're right. You don't. I know you're sweating. Are you sweating?
No, we good. Hey, first DJ booking got to be when you're. Oh, mate, trust me.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. I heard about that when your car got stolen.
Yeah. I was talking about being inactive. Yeah, I'm massively inactive. I do need to. I go through stages where Max was talking. I heard Max on like one of these interviews the other night. Max Denham.
Yeah,
I related to it so much. He literally said he goes through stages where he's so productive, and Max is one of the most productive people I know in the industry.
Yeah.
And then he just drops off. Like he is like, I'm not gonna do that. I literally am similar to that. Like this whole first quarantine thing, mate, I was on my decks daily. I was putting videos up, whacking mixes up.
See, I was the opposite of you. In the first couple of weeks, I was in bed. I wasn't doing anything.
See what I mean? But yeah, for me, like I just go through these stages where I'm so productive and then I'm not. I've been sitting on a mix for 3 weeks.
Just post it, man.
Bro, like, I've literally been sitting on a mix for 3 weeks that I haven't dropped. And there's no excuses as to why I haven't done it.
Yeah.
Should we go over the invoice me 35K?
I'm just gonna put this one up. I'm putting this one up.
Yeah.
Remove.
Harrison Paul does have a girlfriend, actually. Yeah.
Stop sweating. It's all right. Stop sweating.
No, we're good, bro.
Did I have some water? Did I have some water?
I knew this was going to come up.
I said I'd pay him £2.50 for a bottle of Lucas and a bottle of Lucozade.
Do you know what? Yeah, I invoiced. Liam B booked me that night.
Yeah.
Should we get onto the car stolen story?
Yeah, sure. Do you wanna? You can move off.
Nice one, bro. Yeah, let's get onto the car stolen story. You're loving this, aren't you?
Carry on.
So yeah, Liam booked me at a venue in Chingford, and yeah, I turned up. I can't remember what happened, but for some reason I was on the dead early slot. Maybe it's because I'm a dead DJ and Liam don't like me, but he put me on an early slot, you know.
He's testing you.
Yeah, testing me. Not that he hasn't ever seen me DJ before. Anyway, done the early slot, DJ'd, and then Wonder K turned up, another DJ.
Yeah.
Wonder K turned up, and I said to him, it's quite funny. He walked in the booth, said hello, and he said to me, I said, "Oh, where have you parked?" There's a place at a venue where all us DJs park, like it's renowned for us to park. Wonder K just went from that was a mazza. And I turned around and said to him, "Where'd you park?" And he was like, "Oh, down the little side bit where we always park." I went, "Oh, okay, you see my car?" And he went, "No." I was like, "Oh, probably got nicked." Like, laughed, yeah?
Yeah.
Probably got nicked. Anyway, I was like, I was going to go, and I was like, "Oh, do you know what? I haven't seen Wonder in a long time. Like, we catch up, but only at gigs." So we waited. I waited for him to finish his set. He was only playing for an hour, and it was like, right, we'll both roll out the club together, walk back to the cars. Anyway, walked out the club, walking down the road towards where we parked, and I went, "Okay, why have you parked in my space?" He went, "What?" I said, "Why have you parked where my car was?" He was like, "You having me on?" I was like, "No, mate." I said, "I parked there." I was like, "Your car is where my car was parked." I was like, "It's been nicked." Like, straight away, just knew it's been nicked. Yeah.
But your number plate is bait. Like, your number plate is bait. So like, the whole of Essex probably knew where it was after people were looking for it.
Bro, do you know what? Yeah, I've got home. It was a madness. K ended up dropping me home, and I'm sitting there. I was like laying in bed, trying to just think where it could be. Like, I had no idea. Anyway, I put a little Facebook status out there saying what had happened. I managed to get about an hour and a half sleep, I think, that night. By the time I woke back up, it had like 900 shares on Facebook, and I had a Facebook message from this random guy I wasn't friends with. He said, "Hello, mate. I think your car's parked outside my house." So I was like, "Yeah, of course it is." Like, so I messaged him back. I was like, "Okay, can you send me a picture of it?" 5 seconds later, he sent me a picture of my car. So I was like, "Shit, like, where are you? Like, give me your address. I'll come there now." And he sent me his address, and yeah, literally shot there. Was there in a half hour, like, on the phone to the police. And they was like, "We'll try and get there." They never actually got there. And yeah, shot there, and there it was, just sitting there, man. But
so after that, do you ever drive to your sets or not?
I drive to my sets. My car has got an immobilizer on it, and that steering wheel goes on, mate. Trust me. Like, you got
the baitest car and the baitest number plate. That's the thing. Like, no one has blue. Like, no one has blue, bro.
You sound like my mum, man. Trust me. She said this to me early. She was like, "No."
Like, yeah, it's just a bait on. But at least it's bait, because then people can recognize it.
Yeah, there is that.
Liam said, "Do you want to DJ for me again?"
Liam, no. Like, no. There we go. No, trust me, I love DJing for Liam. It's great. We have a lot.
Do you think there's like a DJ rivalry, and like, do you think there's rivalry between DJs when you have your sets, or have you had rivalry?
I've seen it. I've never ever been involved in it. I don't think, not from my point of view. But yeah, I've seen it a lot. But yeah, it's not something I get involved in. I try and keep myself to myself. Well, not myself to myself, because I speak to a lot of DJs. Yeah. But in a good way. Like, every DJ I know and speak to on a personal level, we all get on well. So yeah, mate, it's going to happen in any industry. Everyone's competing for the same thing at the end of the day. It's bitchiness is going to happen, and there's going to be that sort of clash. But it's just how you deal with it and carry yourself, I think.
What's kind of been the worst experiences for you with a club promoter or manager?
Not getting paid.
What, were you asking for ages, or like, did he just cut after the night, or?
No, yeah. So everything was agreed. This is why I put contracts in place, even though I didn't do that with Liam, but I might have to if I DJ for him.
If my car gets stolen, you're paying for it.
Literally, yeah. I think Walshy just said, "Put an Uber on my rider." Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, put an Uber 100%. On
it. Liam, I'm with you with a health competition, definitely. Yeah, worst experience was, I DJ'd for a venue. It's long gone now, but it was, DJ'd for a venue. We agreed a price, turned up, and it wasn't busy. Like, it was dead. Liam will know what venue I'm talking about. It was in Hoddesdon. They nicked someone else's name. Everyone had issues with that club.
Yeah.
Turned up, done my set, played to the crowd that was in there. I think there's probably 100 people in probably a 500 capacity venue. And then went to get paid at the end of the night. And I was like, we're not paying you. It's not busy. Yeah, well done, Liam. You're right. Yeah, that was like, we're not paying you. So I was like, well, you're paying me some, like, I'm not drove. It was like an hour drive from my house as well. I was like, I drove DJ'd for like an hour and a half, 2 hours for nothing. Like you are paying me. And I think I was only just 18 at the time, 17, 18. So I was still obviously quite young, and I had a bit of an attitude on me as well. And I remember a story that Max told me where he didn't get paid in a club, so he just picked up the decks and walked out. And it popped into my head, so I tried doing it. But the guys the guys that own this club were a bit dangerous, and I quickly put the decks back. So yeah, that didn't go down well.
Did they bring out a gun or something?
There was a very small room, and a few words were thrown about, and Huddeston is a bot. Yes, but yeah, I very quickly put them decks back. Let's just say that.
You learned from it.
I left with my towel between my legs and never returned. Yeah, definitely.
So what makes a Harrison set unique? What's it about your sets?
I wouldn't say playing to the crowd actually, because I know a lot of DJs that do that, but kind of the multi-genre of it. I'll DJ 30th birthdays. Not that I want to DJ 30th birthdays, but for friends and stuff. I've turned up to a club where they're just not feeling what I'm meant to be playing, and say to the manager, look, can I switch it up? And it works. Obviously not every time, but yeah, I think it's just being able to play as and what the crowd want when they want it, really. And just switching it up when I feel like it's necessary to do so. There's a few DJs that can't do that because they're stuck in their own way, and that's fine. Like, there's DJs that will just play R&B, but they are known, but they're known they want to be an R&B DJ. Do you know what I mean?
No, I'm laughing at Liam's comment.
Why? What's Liam put it? Wait, nothing wrong with being 30G. Mate, you ain't far off.
This guy telling me he's retiring soon. I was like, you're not retiring.
I've heard that before so many times.
He probably said it for the last 5 years.
Yeah, he literally has as well. I've had enough. I'm not doing this. 5 minutes later, he's back in the game. Yeah, I think it's the whole sort of multi-genre side of it, mate. Really, I can play to anyone. When I was young, I was doing parties and stuff, and kind of had to play to the crowd. So, and I think that's why I enjoy a residency so much, because like with guest bookings, I found you can turn up, pretty much play like 30 bangers and walk out, and it's going to be a 6 set. But yeah, with a residency, there's moments where you're like, right, I've got to switch it up, or okay, I'm kind of losing that dance floor a little bit. What can I do to change it? And you're always thinking on your feet.
So before these sets, do you kind of have a prepared playlist, or do you kind of freestyle it?
No, I freestyle it, mate, all day. I feel like I ended up doing 10 till 4 at Attic in Romford in the end, which was a long old stint, man. But so for the first 2 hours, 2.5 hours, obviously it's just warm up stuff, which I knew what I was playing, but it wasn't structured into the point where I know what track's coming next. It was just like warm up house. So yeah, I think you can get very sort of stuck in your ways if you have that much of a structure to your set, if that makes sense. Yeah. And it's just like I think it would become very boring if you had that playlist. It's like, you've got your own playlist on Spotify in your car, yeah. Imagine never changing that for like 3-4 months. Never adding.
Yeah, that's boring. That's boring.
Yeah, and like for me, I always click shuffle play, so it's not in that structured order. So it's kind of exactly the same as that. And I always look at a crowd and think, how would they react to that? So yeah.
So for you, what's been your best overseas booking?
Best overseas? Cyprus, man. That place is my second home. Like, I'm treated like I love them and they love me out there. Like but on the northern side, so it's quite hard to explain. But no one really knows about the northern side. The only other DJ I know,
isn't it? Because it's more kind of like it's just the people. It's like the citizen side kind of thing.
Yeah, it's not recognised. It's not actually. It's not actually like a country. It's mad. It's like completely off the radar. You have to. So we fly to Larnaca, which is in the southern side, where everyone goes to Napa and stuff, and then you drive like an hour and a half, go through a border, and you're into the northern side. But out there, man, like they've just started to find over the last 2 years, year and a half, clubbing and like beach parties. Like they've got such a sick scene for it. The beaches are mad, and there's guys out there that are doing it now. Scotty B's played out there actually. Yeah. He's like the only other DJ I know, other than the Cypriot DJs that play out there all the time. He's the only other DJ I know that's played out there. And
do you think it's easy for you to get those gigs, or is it harder than, let's say, Napa?
Again, it's contacts and networking. So like for me, I've got, like, our family's got a villa out there, so I've been going out there since I was a baby. And then it was my dream from when I first started DJing to be able to get booked out there. And then it's only really been because there was no real scene. So I was raring to go when I was like 16, 17, 18 to DJ out there, but there was no clubbing scene. There was like one club on the island that only played Turkish music, and like I love it, but it's not really what I do. So it's only been the last year and a half, 2 years where they've like, even down to the smallest things like a radio station. They've actually got a radio station out there now that plays like English music. So yeah, it's taking off out there, mate. And they treat me so well out there. I love it. Yeah, absolutely love it. And like they show love, I show love back. Like it's great, absolutely great. Yeah, that's probably my favorite place.
With the DJing aspect, you kind of look to other DJs about their brand and stuff like that. Would you take another DJ seriously if they had a good branding, good logo, everything like that, or does it not matter for you and it's more about the mixing side of things?
No, it matters, mate. You've got to be a whole package. Like I say to anyone now, like, and you probably do it yourself, you hear about a business, what's the first thing you do? For me, I search them on Instagram. Yeah. And if I look at their page and I'm like, they haven't uploaded for, I'm probably the worst for it.
Yeah, I don't know why you're trying.
But if they, do you know what I mean? If it is a brand and they haven't uploaded in 3-4 months, and you're just like, oh really? Like, are they not selling anymore? Are they not getting back to customers and stuff? So I think branding nowadays is a huge thing, like huge thing. I know DJs, it's something I've never done, but I know DJs with like websites and stuff, which is cool, but it's just something I've never branched into. It just shows the like professional side of it, to be honest. And it's definitely a lot more professional. You've got to be a whole package, and at the end of the day, you are a business, and a lot of people do forget that. So yeah,
because it is a job. Like people forget it's a job as well.
Yeah, they don't. The problem is, and I've said this for a long time, people only see you turn up to a club, play 50 tracks and leave. They don't see the hard work that goes into it. They never will. I don't expect them to, because like I turn the tables. I wouldn't expect to understand their job, but people just assume, oh, you're a DJ, that must be so easy. But there's a lot of graft that goes into it as well. A lot of graft.
Definitely. It's a big thing, because if you don't have the right logo or the right branding, Earthone as well. Earthone just making a website,
making a website. Yeah, it's cool, man. That's literally
this guy's working mad as well. Like he does like the Facebook lives. So he's been doing like 3 or 4 a day kind of thing.
Man, I've seen him. No, I've seen that guy before. He's done well for himself, definitely. And it's nice to see like the young. I think there's such, when I was first starting out, like it was Facebook and Facebook only. I remember people unfriended me on Facebook because I was sending out invitations to like events and that on Facebook, and I was like, can you stop? I'm like, well, I'm trying to kind of make a living here. But yeah, people like unfriended me and stuff for doing it, and it was just Facebook at the time. I think it's going back, but we just all sort of come off of MySpace, moving on to Facebook. So yeah, it was just Facebook rather than your Instagram, your Snapchat. Now you've got everything. I can't keep up with that.
Do you think following matters in terms of Instagram followers or Facebook followers or stuff like that?
I don't think that followers matter to a certain extent. I think the following does matter. So I know a promoter. And it's the best way to look at it. If he's going to book you, say he spends, I don't know, I'm talking out the box, $2,000 on your wages, yeah?
Yeah.
If he's not going to double his money from spending $2,000 on you, what is the point? If he's not gonna, like, yes, I get his exposure and stuff, but if he's not helping himself financially, which at the end of the day it's a business, what is the point in bringing you in? There isn't one at all. So yeah, that was I can't remember the guy's name actually, but that was
you say that as well. But then you've got, let's say you got DJs with like 20,000 followers.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 of them will come, or 10 of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like there's that side of things as well. Like promoters think, oh my God, he's got 20,000 followers. Maybe we can get 100, 200 people in. Nice. But then he's probably bringing his best friends, or she's probably bringing her best friends. That's it. Exactly
that. I think, as I say, like a following on socials doesn't matter, but to the point, a following people that actually follow you and your brand, that does matter. And I think that's quite clear in a lot. I've seen people with 30,000 followers getting 30, 40 likes on a picture, and I'm just like, really? Do you know what I mean?
It's definitely bought, isn't it? It's definitely bought.
Like, if you're gonna do it, be real about it rather than just
I've seen them. I've seen DJs with like 50,000 something like that, and then they've got like 20. They got like 20 likes on a post, and I'm like, or 20 views, and I'm like, what is going on here? Like, if you actually only got 20 followers.
But I do get it. I think there's that whole pressure behind it.
Yeah.
Like, you think of people on Love Island, they go on there as no one, they come off and then they're millionaires within a year. Like, fair play to them, but people think because they've got them followers, that's the reason they're getting work. But you've got to remember they are actually followers and people that actually have followed them for a reason.
Yeah.
So
like they were like before they even went on the show, they may have had like at least 20,000 before, or like 5,000 or 10 or something like that. Yeah. So it's not like they just on zero following to 1 million.
Exactly that, man. Exactly that. Liam's just said, remember the days of standing outside clubs with flyers? Yes, I do. I remember I used to meet Liam outside. Oh, mate, we used to have some fun. I'll tell you that.
So I've seen 130k with 15 likes. What? That's not possible. I wouldn't take it serious. I wouldn't take the DJ seriously or the person seriously if that happened.
Yeah. No, I know Instagram at the minute because it's so busy. Instagram in a minute, like the reach is bad, really bad. Yeah. Like I know companies like clothing companies and stuff have stopped spending money on their adverts. Yeah, it's just not going anywhere. So everyone's obviously struggling, but yeah, things like that. What he's just said with 130k and 15 likes, that's mad. But it doesn't shock me.
Yeah. I was talking about this with Rach yesterday, and she was saying like about the whole Insta live sets, about kind of like the mental health of people as well, because like you've got so much competition between DJs on that Insta live, so like people kind of looking at, oh my God, he's got 50,000 views, he's got 2,000 views, whatever, how many views and all of that stuff. So like, is that why you kind of haven't really jumped on a live, or do you think it's not necessary for you? Or
to be fair, I think I've done one, but it dropped after like 20 minutes. So for me, it was like, if I'm gonna do something, I'll do it properly. And I just haven't got round to that. And where I was, so when I was at my mum and dad's, that I was living, they've got like an outhouse down the bottom of the garden, so I was living down in that. And the internet wasn't great in there at all. Yeah. So yeah, internet wasn't great down there at all. So I'd struggle, but rather than connect to the internet to the Wi-Fi on my phone, I was running off of 4G. So that was a little hiccup I had anyway as to why I didn't do it. But yeah, for me, I don't know. I just don't feel like the reach would be there. And I personally, I've done it where I've clicked onto someone's live and I've watched it for 3 minutes and gone, oh, click off. Do you know what I mean?
Literally, like, it's bad, but that's kind of what most of us do. Like, unless you've got another device to put it on, or you just got it on the background or whatever. Otherwise, I think most people just stay on for 2 to 5 minutes kind of thing. That's it.
Yeah, people just get bored massively. If I was going to do it, it would be on Facebook, definitely. Yeah. Definitely. But the
problem is, like, I would do it on Facebook, but I just don't have any, like, following on that. I would have to start it all up. So, like, it may be a bit long because, I don't know. I could do it. I could try it.
How many friends, have you got a personal page on Facebook?
Yeah.
How many friends you got on that?
Like 5.
Oh, okay.
I don't use it. I don't use Facebook. I use Instagram and Snap. I don't really use Facebook or Twitter, so.
Yeah.
Like I've got accounts on them, but I just don't. Yeah, just
don't use it. Yeah, you just got to do what's best for you, mate. Everyone's in their own sort of, they've got their own sort of lane that they're in.
Yeah.
Walshy's massive on the lives. He was like the whole quarantine thing. He was doing everything on a Sunday. And I watched that a few times. Like, it was pretty cool.
The thing is, it's just like now a lot of DJs are taking up the nights and the days, so you don't even know when to do it as well. Like for us, it's mad. But I mean, like for other regular people, they're probably following 1 or 2 DJs, so it don't matter. But for us, and I'm seeing like, I'm going on my homepage and on a Friday night, I've got like 15, 20 DJs on a live. I'm like, who do I even listen to? Do I just scroll through to see? Like, it's crazy.
I scroll twice past the live videos just to get to the stories.
To the stories. Yeah.
Yeah, it's but listen, each to their own. If people, that's what people want to do, let them do it, man. I'll support anyone in what they're doing, definitely. But for me, it just hasn't really been something that I've got stuck into, to be fair.
Yeah. So looking back at your career so far, what's been the highlight for you?
Highlight was, to be fair, holding a residency, because I went from Attic in Romford. It was fiction before. So it was fiction before, it was Attic, and then I was a resident there, then resident Attic as well. So I was at the club for like 4 years, which is a long time. Liam will know what I mean with faces. Liam was there for a long, long time. And then, so probably that, like being able to hold that down and watch what you're doing, like people appreciate what you're doing. I built like a nice little following in that area. So yeah, that was probably the highlight so far. Obviously, there's been like day trips to Ibiza, Marbella, again, DJing out in Cyprus. Like that, mate, they're all little highlights that I look back on and think, oh, what a day. Like, unreal. But yeah, the main one for me was probably that, to be fair.
So in the next 5 years, where do you kind of see yourself? What do you want to achieve?
Well, I need to get a bit more active, don't I? We've worked that one out.
I'm expecting a post this like by Tuesday.
Oh, mate, as soon as I get off, bang, I'm posting. I don't know what I'm posting because I'm not doing anything.
Just post something, innit? Just post a picture of your decks.
Screenshot this and do it now, quick.
You want me to screenshot?
No. I'll post that after we get off this.
Just post it. Just post off. Yeah, just be like, yeah, I'm gonna get back into DJing soon.
This is my logo. Next 5 years. I want to get back into the residency side of thing. Because I love it. Literally love love being a part of a club and watching a brand and watching a club become what they can be. I love that. And that's something I really want to get back into. I do miss them days of being a part of a club and a venue and watching all the hard work in the background, standing back on a Friday or Saturday night and thinking, like we've grafted for this. Obviously, I want to pick up a few more bookings abroad. I think every DJ loves doing that. That's a hard scene to break into because there's so many decent DJs that are doing that at the minute. Like, I look at the lineups in Ibiza from promoters around like locally, Malia and stuff like that, and I think like sick. The DJs that are on the lineup, I wouldn't swap any of them because they're like,
you know what? It's just the competition's crazy.
It is, mate. Yeah, it literally falls down to that, and it does. It comes down to networking. Yeah. It does come down to the networking and a bit of luck sometimes as well. Like you find yourself on bookings. I know DJs that are kind of just breaking onto the scene or have broke onto the scene, and probably only really been DJing for a year, but then they've got a residency, or not a residency, a residency with a brand who is out in Ibiza, Ocean, and like that's sick for them. Like I said to them, like it's great, like keep doing what you're doing. Like you can't. I would never look at a lineup and go, that DJ doesn't deserve to be on it because they've all done something that would deserve for them to be on it. Yeah, of course. They might not have been around for as long as me, but fair play to them, man. They've done that.
So let's say you're one of the DJs who have a residency at the moment. Would you be worried coming out of quarantine, knowing that there's a lot more competition coming up, and do you think the promoter will get rid of you or club will get rid of you, or do you think you shouldn't be worried and just stick to what you're doing and improve?
Just me personally, like I don't want to start scaring DJs, but everyone knows they're not stupid. But I think money's going to be an issue, big time. We're just about to go into a massive recession anyway, but money's going to be a big problem. And wages are a struggle anyway. Like every DJ will say that, but Brandon just said it's who you know, and I completely agree with him. So true. But yeah, I think wages are gonna take a hit. They were a struggle anyway, but they're gonna take a hit. And I think like being able to get them bookings, I think is gonna be a struggle for the first 6 months. That it all goes back to normal. I think a lot of clubs. I don't see clubs coming into this and going, we're gonna change. We're gonna use this to make a change. I don't see that.
I think clubs are all gonna go back to the same. Personally, that's what I think, because they want to feel secure. Obviously, money's an issue. They don't want to try anything different at the moment, and if they do, who knows? It could make them a big success, or it could be not. It could be just a rubbish thing that they're doing, but no one really knows. No,
exactly. But I just I think clubs are going to come out of this and stick to what they know, and see what happens, see where people go and what they're doing really.
Do you think how much do you kind of drop your price? Like, if you kind of just got to make an agreement with the owner, or do you think you're going to drop it massively to get more gigs? Or
I think everyone knows their worth, mate, and everyone's different in that. I'll put my price, and you could put your price. Brandon will put his price. They'll all be different. Like everyone goes. If you're happy to go out for that, then go out for that. But I'm quite lucky in the aspect that DJing is not my full-time job. So I'm quite lucky with that. But I'd love it to be, don't get me wrong. But for reasons like this, I just couldn't rely on it. I've still got bills to pay at the end of the day. So I had to sort of have a backup plan. And luckily that was in place. So yeah, I think everyone knows their worth, and everyone should go out for what they think they should deserve, to be honest. And I don't think you should be slashing your prices by 50%. It's going to be a struggle for everyone, don't get me wrong. It also depends on the relationship you've got with a club.
Yeah.
If they say to you, right, we're going to book you every single Saturday night for this amount, and you want £20 more, like, come on, bro, swallow it. It's 20 quid.
It's 20 quid, yeah.
Like, get on with it.
The thing is, they could up it anyway. They could up it by 50. You never know. Yeah,
exactly. They might say to you, coming out of this, right, we need to knock £20 off your wages a week. Yeah. Like, just swallow it. If you're guaranteed that work consistently, because it's gonna be a struggle, mate. It was a struggle before, but it's gonna be a struggle even now.
It's gonna be very difficult now, because there's probably gonna be less clubs.
Yeah, possibly. Wonder Cage just said you get what you pay for. I couldn't agree more. You get what you pay for. Really couldn't. Yeah. But then, I think it goes to like DJs breaking onto the scene. Obviously, you're going to be charging less. But it goes back to what I said about those willing to put the work in will, and that will show as well. That will show. And rather than the ones that just turn up, buy a controller, turn up thinking they're going to get a residency on a Saturday night in one of the biggest clubs. It's not going to happen. Like,
it's not, yeah.
A lot of us have started at the very bottom and worked up. There might be one that slips through and get a lucky break and they're a good DJ and whatever. But
£29 sets. I can't imagine that.
Sorry. Yeah, I can imagine that. I've seen it before.
I've seen someone do 50 quid. Like it's a sick residency, right? Like, and I go, oh, how much are they paying you? 50 quid a night. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm fine. I don't want that. Like, and it's a sick it's like a club that I want to DJ at. And then when I heard the price, I'm like, no wonder you've been there for 6 years. Like, they're paying you 50 quid a night.
Yeah, there was a venue in London, and I thought I'd landed right on my feet. It was about 4 years ago. They approached me. They messaged me on Instagram. They was like, we want to book you, blah blah blah. And I'm thinking, like, it was a big venue. I was thinking, okay, cool. It's for our student night. I'm thinking, yeah, decent. Like, we get like 2,000-3,000 through the door. I'm like, yeah, cool. I was like, this is my price. And I was like, oh no, we don't work like that. I was like, well, how do you work then? And they said, well, you have to pay us £50, and then you sell the tickets, and for every ticket you sell, you keep £10 of it. I was like, bro, it's not happening. Like,
what? That doesn't even make it. What's the point in that?
I had to read it. I sent it to like one of my pals who like, he's very well known in the clubbing industry.
That's just hurting my head thinking about what you got to do. Like,
I had to pay them £50 to go and like, what?
Why do you even need to pay at their club? They're the ones who should be paying you. Like, that's like you hiring a bar staff, like bar staff to work, and then they have to pay you to work there.
Yeah.
What's the
just
point?
like it was mad. What's Brandon saying? All night set, 8 till 2 and 5 drinks. Yeah,
for
that's
£47.50 and 5 drinks tokens.
Don't
5
forget
drinks
the 2
tokens that will
drinks.
get you 5 beers. It won't even get you anything else.
Yeah, it's gonna be strange coming out of it all, mate. But we'll see. Pay to play. Yeah, that's literally what happened, man. Literally
Some
what.
Sunday league club. What's one thing I say? You also have to look at it like this in today's world. And unless you're headlining clubs and promoters, see the residents as just a job. So why should I be paying big? Yeah, true. Big money to play all night. I feel like there's going to be a lot of guest sets when you come back. I don't think there's going to be big residencies like that. I think.
I don't know, because I don't think venues are going to have the money for guests.
But you could, unless they cut the hours of the DJ, so there's 2 cheap DJs on the night instead of 1 DJ that plays that's bigger cost.
But that shows, man. I've seen that happen, and it shows like massively. Because like the two cheap DJs aren't going to be there to read a crowd. They're just not. They're literally not. I remember a time when I was DJing at Attic, and it was when they was exploring all different avenues, and they got forced to book this act, and they were really housey, like really. They were 2 house producers. Like I'm talking 118, 120 BPM tops. Like it, and I'd said to him, I said, it's not going to work. And the management were like, we know it's not going to work. So I was a bit like, well, why are you even letting this happen? Like, you know it's not going to work. How are you letting this happen?
Yeah.
But anyway, it did. It got forced upon them because they'd booked like a tour with the whole of Deltic. I was dreading it, man. Like it wasn't a really busy night anyway, but I probably had 600 in the main room, 500-600. And no word of a lie. Like it was busy, but wasn't rammed. No word of a lie. 15 minutes into their set, the manager come over to me and said, "You've got to get back on." Like when I promise you now, there was not one person left in that room. There wasn't one person left in that room. There was 3 different rooms in that club, and they'd all gone into the other room. Like the guy, I walked up to the guys and I felt so sorry for them. Like because technically they were good DJs and good producers. Like I could never produce music like they have, but they weren't there to read a crowd.
They were playing what they know in that sense. They weren't kind of playing to the clubbing scene knowledge. Yeah,
tech house. It just weren't. Man said 800 web. That's a 2,000 capacity club, Brandon. You got to remember that. But yeah, like they completely killed it, and they got paid $1.5 grand for an hour set. So that was a kick in the bollocks to me, but because I weren't getting paid that for an hour set. Jesus,
I wish I was getting paid that for an hour set.
Trust me, 15 minutes set it turned out to be because they entered the dance floor and I had to go back on.
Yes, back in business. So, in terms of the clubbing,
an hour?
It's gone quick, man. This is what I'm saying. When I did it with Rusky, it was like 3 hours. Like I was sitting down for 3 hours, bro. Like the thing is, he was actually calm. I can't lie. Like I thought after an hour he'd be like, "No, it's cool, we're done," kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then after the first hour, he was like, "No, let's go again. Like we'll just go for a little bit." And then more people started asking questions, and then got to the second hour, and I was like, "Bro, what are we doing? Are we finishing here?" And he was like, "No, let's go again till 6 o'clock." And I was in my chair 3 till 6.
That's good, man. That's good. I've never actually met the guy, to be fair. But I know he's good friends with a few people I know. So Birdie's a good guy, but yeah, I've never met him.
So what's your kind of take on the London scene? Like, obviously you got West End, sorry, and then London and outskirts of London. So what's your kind of like? Do you think because of the money situation that the clubs in the outskirts of London and not just in the West End are gonna go to the bottle spends as West End do?
I don't know. It's a scene. To be fair, it's a scene I've never ever broken into. Like,
it's the hardest to break into. That's like one of the hardest scenes to ever break into.
I'm sure you know. I used to go as a tag along with MC Kai and Max Denham to Funky Buddha in Mayfair. Do you remember that? Yeah. Mate, I've never seen anything like it. Like, I was literally on a table with Tyson Fury before Tyson Fury was not like worldwide known, but on a table with Tyson. I've never ever experienced anything like it in my life. Like
West End is just different. It's just different.
Yeah, different energy. And I literally said from when I used to go with him, that's something I'd love to break into. But again, it's down to networking, and who you know, and being involved in that scene.
That's brutal networking though, that one, because like that circle is like you can never break it. Basically, it's like they keep those DJs on rotation till they die, kind of thing. Like I know some of the DJs that have been in Libertine for the 5-6 years.
Yeah, but you know, which is great because you don't get that loyalty anymore. Like you genuinely don't get that loyalty. It's just not a thing. And if it is,
but in a way, you don't want that because you always want to be. I mean, obviously, it'll be nice. You got the regular set. You don't even need to worry about next Friday what's happening. But you want to be kind of kept on your toes. So like, because I'm not gonna be rude here. Like it's just this. I will literally send you. I'm gonna find this video because I was saying it to another DJ. When I went Libertine, I can't remember who was DJing. The guy could not mix. Right. This is what I'm saying. Like when you got that kind of comfort, it don't matter. It don't matter to you. Like you're never performing your best each week. Like one week could be sick because there's some artists coming down. Yeah. And you know there's some famous people. The next week could be rubbish because no one's down. So I was literally said it's so bad. Like he cuts the song during, I don't know what song it is, but I'll find it. And halfway through the chorus, he cuts it and then just brings up another song.
Yeah, send it to me. I'll have a look. But I mean, because I ain't been there in a long time, but I know it's very, very tight. And there's a guy that, I don't know if you spoke to him actually, enquiries. He's mates with Walshy.
No, I haven't.
Terry. He's broken into that scene a little bit. But again, that was just from networking. Like, if, again, what I said, if you got a night off, go to a club. Terry would be in a club on a Tuesday, Wednesday, like Thursday. If he wasn't working, he was in a club. And he was networking and speaking to people. So, again, it does pay off massively, just being in that right circle. And I think how it happened was, I can't remember the exact club, but someone was meant to be DJing and he was ill, and then they thought, oh, we'll give Terry a call. So they phoned him up and he got the booking. So yeah, it's just little breaks like that.
Just works like that.
Yeah.
On radio scene, is that kind of a scene for you, or is that kind of you want to stick to the club festival?
Sorry, bro, I lost you there. Come on, radio, yeah. To be fair, I'd love to get into radio. I'd love it. Yeah, that's something I'd always want to do. But it's just going about it, and getting into. There's a lot of. I wouldn't say there's a lot of DJs. I see Walshy's just back up on radio as well. He was off it for a while, but he's back up on Represent. I do like guest mixes and stuff on a radio in Cyprus. I've got one next week. But yeah, I'd love to obviously get out on radio. That was definitely a cool platform.
Do you think radio's dying out?
I see you asked someone this question, and it was a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember who it was. I don't think radio's dying out, but I thought that originally. When you first asked that question to someone, I was like, yeah, no, radio's not dying out, but I can't remember last time I listened to it. Like, unless a DJ I know,
that's literally it.
Yeah, unless there's a DJ I know on the radio, I won't listen to it.
Or if it's like a DJ who I know or is doing a guest mix and they're like, oh, listen in, I'll be like, yeah, cool. Otherwise, last time I listened to radio, maybe like 3 months ago, something like that.
Yeah, like I haven't even got presets in my car. I could not tell you what the radio stations are presets in my car. Couldn't tell you. Could not tell you. It's just bang, Spotify playlist done. Yeah.
Someone said, I remember someone was saying the only time they listen to the radio is when they're connecting the Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Connecting the Bluetooth to the car.
Literally. But yeah, I hope it doesn't. And it would be cool to see what the stats are, to be fair, over the last 3 years. But yeah, it would be interesting to see what them stats were, to be fair.
I know that so obviously there are some radio stations like Radio 4, like dumb ones, those will never die out. But like One Extra, Capital Extra, I think those ones are slowly, I wouldn't say dying, but they're slowly decreasing because you've got the platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, where those tunes are already being played on.
Yep, it's true. It's true.
But like talk shows won't die out because you can't really, like, there's the older generation that will always listen to talk shows.
Yeah, and I think Charlie Sloth showed the whole radio industry what can be done as well. Like he moved off of one extra bank on. And that was a big move. Like, he had a massive platform on there, and people followed him, mate. That's the thing. They went straight over, and they kept on watching what he was doing. So,
but
yeah,
he's just kind of, but like he's just left a gap there. Like, you get what I mean? No one's really kind of filled it massively. Like I know there are big DJs on there, but no one's done what Charlie Sloth done. Like Kenny Allstar, he's kind of getting there, but he wouldn't be the same as Charlie Sloth, I wouldn't say.
I don't think you could do it though, mate, to be honest. It's like someone trying to fill Westwood's boots. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I personally, I respect that guy and what he's done for the scene. I respect him, and he's very good at what he does. But personally, I can't stand listening to him. Like, can't.
Yeah.
I know you love listening to him, but for me personally, like, yeah, I just can't stand it.
How comes?
I think it's the voice, if I'm honest. I'm just like, I look at him like in my dad's age, and I'm just like, come on, bro.
What's he like, 60 something? 63, 64, something like that?
He's older than my dad then. Yeah. You know, I don't know, just can't put the voice with the face, but fair play. Like, I can't take away what he's done, mate. He's smashed it for the scene, massively.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm gonna ask this, which I don't know if you heard me ask this, but about white DJs getting more recognition for playing black music than black DJs.
Do you think?
And yeah, it's definite. It's definite.
I haven't even looked at that. Can't lie.
But like, if you let's say if you do you play kind of Bashment and all of that, or not really?
Yeah. If I have to, yeah, 100%.
Do you think the crowd will respect you more? Like, have they respected you more that you've played that?
No, I don't think the crowd give a shit. If I'm honest, I don't. Like, if I'm being honest, like, I've never ever brought that into it. I've never literally thought, yeah, they respect me more for playing it.
But okay, but you look at like Westwood. I mean, okay, Westwood was more for the R&B scene before, R&B hip hop scene before, but now because he does Bashment, he's probably more up there. But like, you look at Rodigan, like all these other DJs who play Bashment and dancehall who are white, they're actually more respected than the black DJs. That's what we've been talking about in the group chat, and it's like, how do we change that? Do we even change that? Is that just...
It's a mad thing to look at, because, yeah, I've never even thought about that, to be fair, mate.
Yeah.
To me, music's just... Don't matter who you are, where you come from, what you look like, you just play it. Like, it's just... That's never even... But I suppose if...
Bro,
sorry,
I just got a call. Sorry.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, sorry. What were we talking about? What were you saying?
Yeah, like DJs getting respected for playing that type of music. It's something I've never really looked at. And probably won't look at it. To be fair, I just think it don't matter who you are, where you come from, what you look like. It's music's music, mate. It brings everyone together. We've seen this in the whole quarantine thing. Like, I DJ'd to, when I was at my mum's, I DJ'd to the whole street. Obviously, that was in their front gardens and stuff. I DJ'd to the whole street, and like, it lifted their moods ridiculously. Like, everyone was happy and stuff. So I just think music just brings everyone together. Really do.
So after quarantine, what are you playing in the clubs? Because there's a lot of albums dropping this week and last week. There was a lot of albums dropping. Do you think that was the right move for them as well?
Yeah, because obviously everyone at the minute, they've got the time to stream. All they're doing is streaming, and music's become such a big thing over the last 3 months. So yeah, I mean, like, Tory Lanez smashed it, absolutely smashed it. Like, this was probably in the weirdest way, the best thing that could ever have happened for him.
You know what? Him leaving his record label was the best thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Him leaving that.
Do you know what? I said this to someone the other day. Like, you watch his posts. It is mad, because I've been involved in that kind of thing for a friend of mine, and the amount of control a label have over what you do. You don't realise it, and it massively brings you down. Like,
you wouldn't see Tory Lanez doing all of this if he was in his record label. No way. He'd be doing all of this.
His brother was a singer or rapper.
No, I didn't know that.
No, the day after he left his label, he plugged it and said, "Check my brother out." Like, my better looking brother or something like that. Mate, his music's sick. I've never heard of it. Like, and if he was with his label, no way would he have been allowed to do that. No way.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think he plugged his sister the other day as well. His sister sings. Like, it's just, to have that freedom and to have the bollocks to be able to go on and do it yourself. Fair play.
It's hard work for him because he has to be constantly on it now because obviously no one's backing him in that sense in terms of a label.
Yep.
But I feel like because with the quarantine radio and everything, I feel like it's helped him a lot to get the following. So people are always gonna listen to his music now.
Mate, I've rated Tory for a long time. Like,
he was so underrated. He was so underrated.
Yeah. But I think that's just because like people they're stuck in the whole Drake thing, which I get, mate. I love Drake. Drake's it. But
do you think Drake's better now than what he was before? Or do you think he's got worse?
That's a big question. I don't know. I love old school Drake. Like get in the field, driving home after the club and all that. Get that old school Drake. I put on like Take Care album, like the best. But yeah, that guy just still does it like this. When he just dropped his newest album, I listened to Chicago Freestyle and I was like, Jesus Christ, like I'm real. So I don't think Drake will ever lose it. No, definitely not.
The thing is, he'll go silent for 6 months, drop an album, it'll hit the top charts, it'll be top 5. Like it's just.
But once he's at the top, man, that's the thing, and it don't matter who you are. Once you're at the top, you can do things like that.
And you can necessarily you could kind of stay at the top, but obviously you'd have to come out bigger when you do drop these things. Yeah,
of course. But yeah, I think Tory Lanez is like this is probably the best thing that's happened for him, to be fair. Yeah. And there's a lot of people that didn't listen to his music that now are.
No, but the problem with that is like, let's say some people are gonna be like, oh, I'm his biggest fan, but I'm like, you only knew him from quarantine radio. You get me? Like, you didn't know him from when he was doing like, I don't know, Diego, dumb tunes like back in 2017, those kind of tunes, because that's when he started surfacing. Actually, he was actually quite big still in like 2017.
Yeah, same thing happened with J. Cole, really. But listen, if people want to do that, then let them do it. Like, if they're supporting it, then they're supporting it. Like, but the whole biggest fan thing, does make me laugh. But
I just it is what it is. But like the thing is, what I don't like about the radio aspect is that they're playing these. So like you got like, let's say, so I was talking to these American DJs and they're saying that because obviously there's radio over there is much bigger than it is here. So you've got different stations for different things. So you got an actual hip hop station, then you got a pop station. But you see, Capital will play Drake, and then people will class him as pop when he's actually not pop. He's just commercial, mainstream hip hop R&B. Yep.
But do you think, so thinking about that, do you think clubs are like that now as well?
Yeah, I think clubs are more controlling.
Yeah. So obviously I've worked with Deltic, and obviously something they done was bring 3 different rooms into a venue. One, the main room playing basic, depending on what DJ you got in there, but pretty much everything. Then you'd have like an R&B room. Then you'd have like an 80s disco party room, which I kind of feel hasn't done anyone any favors, if I'm honest.
I personally, I don't like these different things where they got different rooms. Like,
no, I don't.
I feel like you should just have one main room where you play these different things in the same room. Yeah. Like, I'm not saying the DJ's got to just play 80s, but they can still implement it in their setting earlier on.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's a strange one. It's a transition, but we'll see what happens moving forward with it. Definitely.
Are you wanting to go down the producing route anytime soon, or?
Not anytime soon. I haven't got the time for it, mate, to be fair.
Well, you got time now.
Yeah, I have actually. You're right. No, I'm still working, man. Still got a day job. So, but yeah, it's a time thing. And again, if I'm going to do it, I'll do it properly. Like, I'll lock myself away for 6 months and come out with 3 or 4 tracks. It does make me laugh when I see DJs that have never produced before come out with tracks like that have obviously not been done by them. I just.
How do you kind of know that? How do you kind of know that it's not been done by them?
It goes like, you got to put that effort in. I know producers, and I know how long it's taken for them to get to where they are, and they're still nowhere. Yeah. So for someone who has never produced in a life to start uploading videos of them on Logic Pro on their Mac, and then a week later dropping a decent, like, sick track. It can't be done, man. Can't be done.
Never know. It could be.
Nah, there's too many ghost producers. I've been offered it plenty of times. £300 a track.
Yeah.
Just not something I'd want to. If I release the track or remix it, I want it to be something I've done. If that makes sense. Not
because you can't really. You feel bad putting your name on it. Like
I couldn't. My conscience is ridiculous. Like I couldn't put my name to it, knowing I've just paid someone £300 to make it.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. And I know, obviously, with artists and stuff, that they don't always write their own music.
Yeah, they're ghost writers and everything like that.
Yeah, but I kind of feel like that's a little bit different because they're still singing it. Do you know what I mean?
Still, it's not someone else is singing it and they're writing the lyrics and they're saying it's all of them.
No, exactly. It's
I don't know how it's easy. I don't know how it's easy to tell. I don't know. You might have to give me an example like that.
I'll send you. There's a celebrity.
Okay, send me.
There's a celebrity who's been DJing for about a month. Who's just
okay. Now you've gone on to that topic. What's your takes on that?
What, celebrity DJs?
Yeah.
Not a fan, to be fair, man. Like,
is that because you feel like they're gonna take your sets, or is that because they haven't worked hard enough?
I don't feel like they take my sets because a celebrity DJ couldn't do a resident, like they couldn't do what I do residency wise, if that makes sense. For me, mate, anyone can turn up to a club and play an hour of bangers as a main set. Like, if you can't do that, stop DJing. Obviously there's ways of how you go around it and whatever, and you change it up to make it yours and great. But yeah, celeb DJs, I just think, like, stick to your own lane in a certain extent. Like, yeah, it's a conversation we could have for hours, but I just think there's enough of us doing it. Let's do it. Like, don't use the platform you've got. I get it's a business tool and everyone's out to make money and eat, but yeah, leave it alone. If you weren't doing it before you become in the public eye, don't try and do it.
That's the thing. If you've done it before, but you went on the reality TV because you wanted to get more bookings or more exposure, okay, that's like, I wouldn't rate the process of it, but I would rate that you're still DJing, right? Like, you've been doing that for time.
Mate, if they learn properly, 100%, and they put the graft in, fair play to you. Like, that's cool. And you've got that platform to boost yourself, use it, push yourself forward. But I've seen so many TV reality stars become DJs overnight. I tell you, prime example, Kem, yeah? He done the right thing, bro. He done the right thing. He was paying DJs, he was paying Max, he was paying Wuchi to learn how to DJ. And he used that as a business tool. So he was doing guest appearances and getting paid and whatever, but for another part of his business, he become a DJ. He can now
DJ properly.
I could go, there's a track, mix them, and he'd do it. So for someone like him, fair play to you. He put the grind in. He didn't.
I know. There's one definitely that just started during quarantine. I know there's one. I ain't gonna name names.
Yeah. I think we're talking
hopefully we're talking about the same person. But legit just started in like 2 weeks ago, kind of thing. Yeah,
but yeah, it's one of them. What's F1 just said? I would say 70% of the people in the charts don't produce their own songs. Correct, but do they sing them?
Yeah,
that's what we just said. We think they do sing them.
Yeah.
So that's their own touch on it. They might not produce it, but they sing it.
F1 said we all know.
Bear with me 2 seconds. I'm gonna grab a charger real quick.
No worries. But yeah, like it's an interesting thing, you know. I mean, I want to interview more reality TV stars to actually get their opinions on everything, because you know what, the one I did with Jordan was like, it was good to see what he had to say, like, because no one really hears it in that sense. And I'll tell you, he did tell me that there's someone I interviewed. I know who it is now because I've done some research. But there's someone I interviewed who shut him down.
Oh, really?
And I was so at the start of when I didn't know who it was, I was like, oh, like
Right.
done some digging, and I know who it is, but I ain't gonna say it on live.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, I don't condone all of that stuff in that sense.
Yeah. But prime example of doing it the right way would be what Kem has done. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Like he's done what any DJ would do. Like he bought himself a set of decks, or I think he bought himself a shitty controller, then he upgraded it. Like then he was learning, he was going pirate studios, he was going around maxes 3-4 times a week and learn. So
see, that's how you got to do it. You got, like, I don't understand these DJs who pick up a deck, go from their bedroom to a set.
Yeah.
Like, go pirate studios first, do the CDJs, learn the CDJs, all of that. Because when I asked Benji this question, when Benji told me that he booked a DJ who couldn't even set up the set, like, how can you not set up your decks? That's like the first thing you should know. Like, I understand the jump from a controller to a CDJ or to vinyl or whatever is difficult. Like, there's so many things going on there. But learn that before you even put yourself out there as a DJ.
Of course. When I was learning, I had a DJ friend of mine. We come round and we done like a back-to-back mixing or whatever. Yeah. And it was before a big booking. And he was like, right, stand over there. And I was like, what are you doing? He was like, stand over there. So I stood like in a corner and I was like, what? Come back. And he was like, right, the right deck's not working. What are you going to do? I was like, what do you mean? He was like, something's gone wrong. Like, and I literally had to like puzzle to try and work out what was wrong. Sounds stupid, but learning things like that, mate, saved my ass so many times.
That happened at GOAT events. That was oh my God. You don't understand, yeah. So obviously none of them lot know me. So I turned up on my ones, like I just was like, okay, cool, I'm ready for the set. All good. Switching over, Casey gets on a mic. He's like, I'm like, bro, just like 20 seconds, yeah, I'll be cool. Like I just had to plug in the USB because I was using HID mode, so I was just plugging in the USB, blah blah blah. Left deck's working, right deck ain't. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna switch up the track anyway because I'm not gonna just wait here, let him talk for hours trying to let me fix the right deck. So I'm trying to fix it, and I'm clocking. That's actually the wire that ain't working, and I was so lucky I bought a spare wire. I was so lucky about that. Because, like, you know how DJs kind of do you get fussy about other DJs using equipment, using your own thing?
Not at all.
You don't?
No.
Because there's some DJs that'll be like, no, I don't want to, like, use your own things kind of thing. So I didn't, and also I didn't really want to ask. So I just was like, okay, let me get my spare wire, I got it. But things like that, you get me? Like, if you didn't know that, you'd just be stuck with one deck.
Yeah, like I've had headline DJs. Like I did get the DJ with a lot of guest DJs at Attic. And I've had them use my Serato box, like, just because it's been easier. Just that I haven't got to set up, especially if they've got another booking elsewhere, rather than them trying to plug their box in. Like,
take everything out.
I'll jump onto a USB, you unplug my box straight into your laptop, I'll play on a USB, you start, done. Like, it's just been so much easier. And I think there's got to be that flexibility. Like, I've had it myself where I've turned up to a booking and the DJ's not said nothing to me. I'm just like, right, really? Like,
not even like, hello, like, oh, you're right with the set up and all of that.
What's the attitude about? There's no need for it. But that's been very, very, very rare. Very rare.
How are you with kind of DJs reading your history and like looking at what you played? Are you kind of against that because you should have come here earlier?
No, because I know what it's like. Where if I've had like three bookings in a night, you haven't got the time to do that. Like if you're going from this club, that club, you haven't got time to get to a club an hour early or half hour early. I used to turn up to Attic when I was only playing 1 till 4 for the warm-up DJ. I kind of knew what he was playing anyway. He was a good warm-up DJ. But I used to turn up about half hour, sometimes 20 minutes before, just to get a feel of it. But never to listen to what he's playing because I had an idea because obviously it's a residency. But the amount of times guest DJs would turn up and go, oh, can I have a quick flick through your history? Blighty done it. I was like, yeah, cool, man. That's no problem. Yeah. No problems. I've got no issue with that. And I think that's, you and Nathan touched on it as well. It's very important if you're doing a warm-up set to not go in.
Yeah, definitely. Because otherwise then you have to put your contracts there. That's what he's done with this. Not playing 2015 and above that.
Ridiculous. Absolutely. Not ridiculous what he's done. It's ridiculous he's had to do it.
Yeah, he's had to do it. It shouldn't actually be like that. It shouldn't be like that where we have to create contracts where it says you can only play this genre and this.
Do you want to know something mad? And I was there and I couldn't actually believe it. So I'm good friends with Danny T.
Yeah.
Danny T? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had a night off and he was DJing in Colchester, I think it was. I think it was Colchester. So I went with him. Anyway, we're sitting backstage, like in a little chill out room, and Danny's got his track, like his Lion King remix. Everyone knows Danny's track, Danny's remix, yeah. We're sitting there chatting, having a laugh, couple of drinks. All of a sudden, the DJ that's playing starts scratching in the Lion King track. Like, his manager has ran straight through the dressing room, straight onto stage, and was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I just don't understand why you do it. I really don't.
I don't know what goes through their heads. Like, surely, why are you gonna play? Like, that's like playing for an artist, right? And that's like, sometimes I know some DJs, like, by accident they forget, oh my god, I've played their track or whatever. But it's not like Danny T has 1,000 tracks. Like,
no,
you know what I mean? That's like his specialty. You get me? That's like,
I think,
that's one of his unique selling points.
Yeah, and I think, you know, like, if you're not being professional about it, and like what you just said with like DJs, if they've got an artist performing, even then, man, like, if you're not professional and you can't play their tracks, like, it's just one thing you don't do. Just don't do it. You can't do it. Like, I dread to think what would happen.
Well, then it just shows you ain't a good DJ if you can't play their tracks. Like, even, like, you know, there's so many thousands of artists, millions of songs. So I don't understand why. Because some DJs have said, oh, it's a difficult job. It ain't difficult. I can't lie to you. Warming up is not a difficult job. Keeping the crowd going at prime time is actually a difficult job, because if the warm-up DJ was so good that everyone's already tired out by 12, then what's the prime time DJ gotta do? Yeah,
I'm with you on that, man. So with you on that. But it's warm-up's one of the most important jobs, and it gets overlooked so many times. The amount of times I used to turn up to Attic and go to the warm-up DJ like, thank you so much. Because I'd walk into that room, feel the energy.
Yeah, you get more praise. You get more praise as the warm-up DJ.
Like, bang, like, that's ready. Like, he's warmed up.
All you need to do is just press play. You don't need to worry about what you got to play to get them warmed up and restart the whole night and everything.
Yeah, like, there was very few times I had to, getting on the mic is a massive important thing, but there was very few times I had to walk in there, change over straight away and jump on the mic quick.
Right, let's read this. I've been in a club where Jazzy Jeff was walked in and the one DJ plays first things. That's out of order. That's
That's mad. That is mad.
What's the point in? I don't understand. I just don't understand those things. Like, I know you want to kind of, I like, all DJs want to do this. They want to kind of show off, you know, if there's a bigger DJ on the lineup.
I've never felt that.
I mean, I've never felt it either, but I know there are people that
do,
want to just show off their skills, but they take it to another level where I'm like, there's no reason to like just stick to your set. Like,
yeah, of course. Definitely.
It's one of those things, but hopefully people actually learn. I mean, these interviews are getting people to learn more.
Hopefully. Definitely. Yeah, it should do. Definitely.
Well, it's definitely helped me as well, because who was saying, someone was saying this, that I forgot. Someone was
so many people.
I forgot. It was a Birmingham DJ, and someone he was saying that he gave the set to someone and told him to reschedule, kind of do it to make it more of a warm up set. Then like that stuff like that I would want to do.
Yeah.
You don't need to play all the bangers. Yeah.
No, it's true. You don't, man. Don't at all. You don't.
It's but
especially on a warm up, definitely not.
It is what it is, though. I mean, you can't really do much. You can't really do much, like, unless you just lock off his set.
No, I remember when I warmed up for Be Young at Attic in Romford.
Yeah.
It helped because I had a host as well, like before Be Young come on. But like the atmosphere we created in there. There's a video on my Insta actually when I was active. There's a video on my Insta, and I was playing Shek Wes, Mo Bamba, and don't get me wrong, it's a big tune, but
I hate
it's
that
a big track, but bear in mind it's not a Be Young track. So I could play it, and it was literally 5 minutes before Be Young come on as well. So I wanted to get that room ram, and we did. Like the atmosphere we created, probably one of the best atmospheres I've been.
But do you kind of get like, is it you know, I kind of have this thing where it's like if you're warming up for an artist, Do you want to go full out, or do you want to just keep it on the artist level? So if the artist, like, let's say Be Young, his ones is more like chilled. He doesn't really have like high energy songs, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to keep it on that level, or do you want to hype it up massively, but then they're all tired out for him? Or is it like,
No.
it's like, how do you gauge it?
It's the way you do it. So I always request a 5-minute warning.
Yeah.
Sounds stupid, but I do. I always say, as soon as the manager comes up, as soon as they arrive, the manager comes up to me and says, blah, 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 this is happening. Yep, cool. Can you just make sure I get a 5-minute warning? I will do my job until I get that 5-minute warning. 5-minute warning. Then I'll increase the hype. I'll jump on the mic, as I have done anyway, jump on the mic and start playing a few more bangers to get that energy, because there'll be nothing worse for me to walk into a dead room. Like, if I walk into a room, the crowd are there, the crowd are ready for it, bang, like, you feed off of that. So I remember Be Young as well coming up to me at the end of his set and went, you got them ready. And I was like, yeah, sick. Like, love that. That was perfect for me. So yeah, I think that 5-minute warning just before they come on stage, just go in. Obviously don't play their tracks, but just go in.
So going with that, would you want to be an artist tour DJ?
Yeah, man, I'd love that. Absolutely love that. I'm in talks for that in a minute, but we've just got to get the tour going. Can't really say much more.
Oh, okay.
A good friend of mine.
Can I get VIP passes? Yeah.
I'll let you know about that. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. But yeah, can't really go into detail.
It's just if you get the right artist at the right time, that's basically it.
Yeah, and I just feel like I love big crowds. I've always been a big crowd DJ, always.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, the little rooms, like little venues, love playing little intimate venues, but for me, a big main room is what I like, definitely. Mind giving our tune a listen? Faz Tunes. I'll give it a go. Send it to me or Chris.
Give it a go. Put it in your next set. What's this next mix your cup was coming out?
Sequel volume 3, man. It's okay. I do like sequel thing. Volume 1 and 2, obviously. Just volume 3. I keep getting asked for it, and I've just been putting it off, and I don't know why I've been putting it off. I just need to. I'm gonna do it this week. I promise you. There we go. Yeah,
you gotta do it. I promise. There we go.
Yeah, done.
But bro, appreciate this, man. It's been good. It's been a good chat.
Man. Keep doing what you're doing as well. Honestly, I know.
Thank you, bro. I don't know how long I want to do this for though. It's like, because I know people. I know and also like I know lockdown's slowly easing, so I know people are going back to work and everything. So it's just like managing that. Like, do I just stick to the evenings now?
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, we'll see where it takes me. But we'll definitely link up after quarantine, bro.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
Definitely. It'll be good, man. But yeah, I hope to see some sets from you, some Instagram live sets as well, or something like that.
Again. I'll get active.
Get active. You know what? You're actually, I'm watching your post now. You're going to post now, isn't it?
I've been so upset. I've had so many things cancelled. I had Vegas cancelled. Was meant to be flying out to Cyprus on Monday. That's not happening. Obviously, I had bookings out there, radio sets out there. Like, it's just like, one thing after.
I was going up to network in Colombia next week. It's just like, yeah, and it's Colombia, bro.
Yeah. Setback after setback.
You know what? But we'll go next year. It's cool.
Yeah, definitely, man. We've got time. Plenty of time.
Yeah, definitely. But thanks, bro. Appreciate everyone tuning in. And yeah, stay safe, bro.
Nice one, man.
See ya.
Bye.